What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? We'll let some people come in here. We're going to be watching earnings into the close. We got about 15 minutes. We'll take a look at the markets. See what's going on here as everything starts to kick in. Kick in and kick on to the live stream. Make sure you let me know if you can hear me. Turn on some music right now. Can everyone hear? I'm not hearing my audio. Give me a second. You guys can hear it okay. Okay, now my audio is good. Well, it's cracking, everybody. Hello, hello. You do. I'd run 1,000 miles just to be with you. They don't make me smile the way you do. Tesla's T-Mobile's down there. You. All right, T-Mobile's down there. Yeah, we're going live again. Had to go to the doctor's appointment for my son. I'm here now. We'll get started in a moment here. I'm gonna let Twitter know that I'm on. All right. Getting started here momentarily.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time this is done.
All right. All right, what's up, Twitch? What's up, YouTube? Yo, 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 yo. What's up, Trader Joe? What's up, Mayan? What's up, Plum Tree? What's up, Dajan? What's up, Jason? Daniel, Kyle, Tees. How's everyone doing? All right, so we're coming into the market close here. About 10 minutes left. We'll take a look at what the market has been doing. I have the expected moves for various names. I got Google up here. I got Microsoft, Intel, Snapchat, Roku, T-Mobile. I can also pull up WDC, which is the Western, the digital, the one, the only. All right. We have expected moves up on here. These are what the options markets are pricing as far as risk. It's going to obviously affect the market. This is the bigger earnings day, if not the biggest earnings day, where we have both Google and Microsoft reporting into the closing bell. As far as the 11 sectors that make up the S&P 500 today, we have materials leading the way and energy, but technology's made a big bid back. So the S&P 500 was way outside, 2 standard deviation move of its daily expected move. Since then, we kind of bounced back, came back into the 5-day moving average, back to the swing low anchor VWAP, back to the week to date, and it's been holding. Now it's kind of coming in again. Zero date, it's been kind of floating around. Well, now it's at 50.40. It's coming to the end of the bell, so this is not nearly as important. And we saw positive market changeover. We had a little crossover here, bullish divergence, and we had started gaining more convergence throughout the trading session, which kind of propelled to the upside here. But overall, we're still down 0.5% on the day, slightly up on the trading week. Trading in and around the upper weekly expected move. So this is where that zero date level is, about 50.40. Start removing these off. I'll update these. Anybody playing any earnings here? Still in negative gamma territory, but we are starting to get above that 5-day moving average, which it's neutralized. We're above it. That's positive. We're at the upper weekly expected move, but we don't know what's going to happen with earnings. Okay. And this is what can change the markets very quickly. Meta got hit. Do I think the same thing is going to happen with these other carriers? I don't. I think we're going to be fine. But who knows? Am I willing to put on a trade because of that? No, not really. Okay. Roku. I feel like Roku would be a good one. I feel like Roku would be fine. So we'll see what earnings brings. I think what people are going to try to pay most attention to is the guidance. Now we have a live news feed, so we'll get the updates as soon as they're out, and we'll obviously watch price here too as well. Okay, these are all the implied moves. So if I go into the trade tab and I look at, for example, Intel, and we're looking at $2.58 move there. If I look at Google, we're looking at about a $9.72 move there. That's changed a little bit here. A little bit higher. Microsoft is a 21.79. 8 minutes till the close. Sitting at highs of the day. I'm going to keep that where it's at. Good enough. See if anything happens. Sometimes they present opportunities actually like Meta. I'm not in the Meta trade anymore. I took my position off. Just so y'all know, I said that I was in it. I bought it in the aftermarket session after earnings. I bought a few shares, nothing crazy, and it was up about 6 or 7%. I just cut the position. It was a small position. Played out well. I moved the lower EM on Google higher. Let me see here. What I do? Did I not mean to do that? Yeah, 9.72. Yeah, my bad. Thanks. Yeah, my bad. Thank you. We're roughly in the same area, right around there.
About 5 minutes of closing bell in New York. We have a heavy earnings calendar with most of the big names reporting in the first 5 minutes after the close. Notables include Boyd Gaming, Capital One, Dexcom, Gilead Sciences, Alphabet, Hartford, Intel, Juniper Networks, KLAC, Microsoft, Robert Half, Snap, Skechers, Roku, Terex, Atlassian, VeriSign, T-Mobile, and Western Digital, among many others.
Yes, sir. All right. Okay. All set up. All right. So who's who what we got going on here? Who's trading this stuff? Now we know where idea of as far as risk goes. That's all the white lines here. When they report, I'll maximize the screen. We can look into it a little bit closer. Google small position. It's hard to be bearish. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be bearish on some of these names. It's the guidance that you can potentially be bearish, and that's what really hurt Meta. And you look at Tesla and how that reported, horrible. Ended up going up. Very, very hard market to be trading. We're still well within being efficient, meaning that we're still within the weekly expected moves with one more trading day left. But coming down to a 2 standard deviation move and kind of just floating up higher today has a lot of people all tripped out. In my opinion, it's a good thing. You want to hold above the 5-day, but also you want to get back into positive gamma territory, and we're not really too far off. And you want to hold above it. And maybe perhaps, you know, this whole move in the S&P 500, you know, we come back and we go for the top again. Very weird price action when you're in negative gamma territory. You get these flushes to the downside, pulls up, flushes, pulls up, flushes, flushes, pulls up, flushes, pulls up. And everyone during this entire time thinks they know exactly what's going to be going on, you know? So it's all about just managing risk here. Got about 3 minutes to the market close. Well, 3 minutes to the market close. We have Google sitting at its high of the day, not too far off, about 30 cents off. We have Microsoft sitting at about its high of the day. Intel came off a little bit here. Snapchat sitting about its high of the day. Roku sitting about its high of the day. T-Mobile, not quite at this high of its day, but made a big comeback. You're welcome, MX. Hey, Vane. Started trading about 2 months ago. I was curious to know why Google was bullish despite bad news. It's just how these markets work, man. I wouldn't think too much into the narrative and just kind of follow price. That's one of the biggest lessons you can learn here. No matter what the narrative is, it can do whatever it wants to do. Just like how you can get a bad earnings, but you can be up significantly. Sometimes if the market's been going down and you get bad news, and then the bad news ends up being a turning point for the market. Just like how when we had our worst inflation report, you know, at 9%, the market was going down, right? It gapped way down and closed way at the high, and that was a low in the market. Trading these white lines on the charts. These white lines are the implied moves. This is what the options market prices in as expected moves. Expected moves for earnings. So for example, like Google is pricing in roughly and these aren't just random lines, right? About a 6% move, about 9.23 plus or minus, right? This is a lot of money being traded here. All this within the options chain, right? You look at the implied volatility and it gives us an idea for risk. If you're going to be trading earnings, it's always important to pay attention to what the expected move is. Because you got to understand, if you're trading into earnings, one, it's a binary event, so you have no idea what's going to happen. Two, so you're giving up your edge. You're giving up your edge completely by trading into an earnings. Two, this is the most condensed area of analysis. You're going up against people that have better models, people that have better access, people that have better research. Right? So we're at a complete disadvantage if you're trading into earnings. In any case, what we have is we have an idea of what the options market prices in as far as expected moves go. So I don't trade into earnings, but sometimes I'll execute when they report. If we get some outsized moves like Meta, it was a 2 standard deviation move, and I went long into that. There's the closing bell, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't even expect myself back today. I'm just here.
GAIO loss of
That's what we do.
6.1 million in revenue.
Let me go ahead and cut this music out.
Delta Alpha India Oscar.
And we'll pay attention here to trade the news. Trade the news is going to give us the fastest feed to this data. One of the fastest feeds.
Whitney raising dividend 3%. Hotel Whiskey Charlie.
There's a lot earnings today. I'm just showing the big ones. Google, Microsoft, Intel, Snapchat.
Microsoft reporting.
There we go. Microsoft's taken up to the upside.
Line $2.94 for Microsoft. We had 282 consensus, beating EPS consensus. Revenue 61.9 billion, beating the 60.6 billion consensus for Microsoft.
Market likes what it sees so far, going up into and around its upper expected move for the trading session.
Intel INTC 12.72 billion in revenue. That misses the 12.8 billion consensus estimate.
Intel coming down to its lower expected move. Nothing is tagged yet.
Subnoting cloud revenue up 23% year over year.
Intel saying they're guiding a next quarter revenue of a loss of 5
Expected
cents.
move tagged there, backing off a little bit from Microsoft.
Current
Microsoft's
quarter
within its
income at
1 standard
18 cents,
deviation
a
of its
5 cent beat, again,
expectations.
revenue below expectations. Guiding non-GAAP EPS 10 cents a share next quarter, well below the 24-cent estimate.
That's going to be helping the market right here with Microsoft. Microsoft's the largest market cap name in the S&P 100, S&P 500. Take a quick look here. You can see price action's going up a little bit here. Pay attention to 5100 and gamma flip line there. Google to report here soon.
We had 6.69 billion in revenue for the quarter for Gulf India Lima Delta, beating a 6.3 billion consensus. EPS also beating expectations for Gilead.
T-Mobile $2 a share beats the 183. Adjusted free cash flow up 39% to 3.3 billion. Core adjusted EBITDA up 8% to 7.6 billion. TMUS.
Google looks like it's taken off to the upside. Its upper earnings expected move.
Alphabet reporting.
And there's a tag of the upper expected move there for
ad revenue at
Alphabet or Google.
61.7 billion. That beats expectations for ad revenue for Alphabet.
Woo!
$1.89 beats the 149 estimate.
And the market's been saved. That's going for almost 2 standard
Google
deviations.
Is initiating
That's a new
dividend.
high.
Alphabet initiating a dividend. Had there been some speculation heading into this release?
That's
ROKU
what Meta reported on the last
82 million
one.
in revenue, beating the 851 million consensus expectation for ROC.
Going for the 2 standard
ROKU.
deviation move on Google. That'll be a new all-time high, I believe. Roku reporting.
ROKU streaming households at 81.6 million. The net increase is 1.6 million for the fourth quarter.
Yeah, just about a 2 standard deviation move for Google. Roku looks decent here too.
ARPU flat year over year for ROKU. Dexcom DXCM 921 million in revenue, beating a 911 million consensus expectation for Delta X-ray Charlie Michael. Dexcom slightly raising the midpoint of their guidance.
Intel's the one that's getting hit
today.
today.
DXCM.
Yeah, Google is the big one. It said something about a dividend. I know that Meta did that last earnings report and saw about a 2 standard deviation move, or was a 3 standard deviation move, a big old move there. So Google's ripping. It was hard to be bearish in this context. Still have some room here for Roku, not tagging up to its upper expected move, but if I had to guess, if we're going to see strength there, it can go up to, from 68 to 72 and tag it. Microsoft's trading in and around it, and we're definitely over that 2 standard deviation marker now, moving in there for Google. Huge move on Google. So if we take a look here, now we're at that gamma flip line, now in positive gamma territory if we're looking at the S&P 100 and moving up into 5100. Holy macaroni. Holy macaroni. We're going up into and around the daily expected move now in the aftermarket session. Outside of the weekly expected move and back within
consensus is 637.
the monthly expected move.
EPS, a loss of 49 cents versus a loss of 47 cents expected.
Western Digital, WDC, 3.46 billion in revenue, being a 3.33 billion consensus. Whiskey Delta Charlie.
Capital One, 9.4 billion in revenue, in line with the estimate. Adjusted EPS coming in at $3.21. That's a 4-cent miss on the adjusted EPS line for Capital One.
Microsoft trading in and around its expected move here.
Western Digital is a big beat on the EPS line and guiding fourth quarter EPS higher.
Capital One saw provisions for credit losses decrease to 2.7
coming
billion
off,
with net
actually.
charge-offs of
Sounded pretty
2.6
good,
billion.
Google's still going. Capital One Financial. I forgot to pull that specific one. Capital One Financial's coming off slightly here. Nothing crazy. Nothing much there. It's Google is the monster. Google is the monster.
Nova LIVN issued a
WTC is
notice
coming down to its lower
to
expected
U.S.
move.
patients regarding a cybersecurity incident.
T-Mobile still waiting on T-Mobile, and Roku's still pressing up here, probably going up to its upper expected move here. Snapchat yet to report. I've never seen a good report really come from Snapchat. That's not necessarily true, but you always get crazy gap down to Snapchat. So well, maybe this is the time where it changes.
Miss on the EPS line, revenue about in line. Charlie Oscar Franklin.
Nice, good catch on Roku. Roku's still pumping up here to the upper expected move. Google is just on a monster tear. This thing is cranking. Up 13%, $20. That's over a 2 standard deviation move there in Google. So I guess the speculation was correct about the dividend. Cranking. Honestly, if I was to look for a long opportunity, Mike, I would be thinking like Intel. Intel's getting hit right here, but Intel's been getting smashed. So if I look to I got to go to the daily time frame on Intel. But is the market going to pull this stuff up? Let me see here. I'm not going to do it. Not right now. If it was like a 2 standard deviation move or something crazy, I'd be much more, open to it. Let me remove all this stuff. I'll remove this stuff. So Intel's been getting absolutely crushed, and we're getting follow through to the downside here on Intel. And we're pulling into and around this prior area. So maybe a little bit lower, maybe 32.14. I would like to see like a 2 standard deviation move to the downside. You typically get follow through to the downside, but
LHX reporting a big beat, $3.06 above the 289 estimate.
Google still
revenue
going.
Also
Oh my goodness,
above
Google's crazy.
expectations. Lima L3 Harris, Lima Hotel X-Ray.
Google's
raising their earnings outlook to $12.70 to $13.05 per share versus $12.73 estimate.
Meta not moving much here in the aftermarket session. Google's up now $21 a share, almost $22 a share. This is looking at like almost 3 standard deviations at this point. We're almost at 3 standard deviations in the price of Google. Not even far off. Like literally about $4 or $5 off. Intel is now coming into its lower earnings expected move. Not too far off there. Microsoft's still trading around its earnings expected move. So Google is definitely the showing up and showing out. Holy macaronis. Hopefully you didn't short Google. This is why I don't like shorting this
Snap
type of things.
SNAP 3 cents on the
There's
adjusted
Snapchat.
line.
Hey,
A 3-cent
there you go.
profit
There it
versus
is.
a loss of
Finally.
5 cents expected for Sierra November Alpha pop-up.
A move up in Snapchat.
Got
In
a
its
Q2
upper
revenue,
earnings expected move right now.
1.23 billion.
There it was.
Snap guiding next quarter revenue 1.23 billion versus the 1.21 consensus estimate.
Intel coming into its lower
Harris
earnings
last
expected move.
few minutes reporting $3.06, beating a 289 consensus, 5.2 billion in revenue, beating a 5.1 billion consensus in Lima Hotel X-Ray. Mohawk $1.86 for earnings, beating a 170 consensus. Michael Hotel Kilo.
Still waiting on T-Mobile. T-Mobile.
Terex TX 1.3 billion in revenue beats the 1.23 consensus estimate. $1.60 from continuing operations, also a beat for Tango Echo X-Ray.
Seeing if I wanted to see if Intel can get down to its lower expected move there. I think it still can. I think it still can exceed it to the downside, but we'll see. Snapchat is just trading right there at its earnings expected move. Do you understand now why these things are so important? They're not just lines on the screen. It gives us an idea as far as risk goes. And when you blow through expectations, you can see 2 standard deviation moves. So think of these as in terms of a distribution curve. 1 standard deviation is 68% of the time it closes within these. But more likely than not, it's going to tag them. There's even higher probabilities of a tag. And then you start reaching out to 2 standard, sometimes even 3 standard deviations on crazier than expected, right? More rare, but it definitely does happen. So we'll see. We have a macro report coming out tomorrow. We have PCE. Look at our economic calendar. We have core PCE, personal income, personal spending. We have Michigan consumer sentiment. And then before the open, we have ExxonMobil, Chevron. So let's talk about those really quick. Okay, there's going to be some expected moves there. We're still waiting on T-Mobile. So I'm going to go ahead and do, we'll do XOM while we wait on T-Mobile. XOM is getting hit actually in the not really. I take that back. Okay. The whole house is going crazy right now. It's hilarious. Okay, XOM, we're looking at about a $2.53 expected move. $2.53 expected move.
KLA 10 core revenue 2.36 billion versus the 2.3 billion consensus estimate. 526 in earnings was a beat. Fourth quarter guidance revenue seen 2.5 billion plus or minus 125 million versus the 2.4 billion current consensus.
That seems very small. It sounds like pretty insignificant. This earnings expected move for XOM. So there's XOM reporting. ExxonMobil reports tomorrow. 124 to the upside, 119 to the downside would be the earnings expected move there. We have also Chevron, CVX, reporting in the morning before the bell. Chevron looking at a $3.78 expected move.
Juniper JNPR reporting 29 cents for earnings. That'll be a miss of a 39-cent consensus, 1.15 billion in revenue, missing the 1.23 billion expectation for JNPR.
All right. So Chevron, so we have Chevron, Exxon reporting tomorrow. So 169 to the upside there, about just under 162 there for Chevron. Snapchat's trading outside of its earnings expected move as it stands right now. Google well outside of it. Microsoft just trading in and around it. We were waiting on T-Mobile. Intel coming down into its lower earnings expected move here. Yeah, Roku's right here. Roku's right here. Ashton. Roku's trading up on earnings. Has not yet came to tag its earnings expected move. So it's still trading within what the risk appetite was. Kind of flagging here. Going sideways. I mean, it looks like it can still push up into that area. So we'll see here. The earnings call may be what presses it or pushes it or even takes it off. Remember, a lot of these we haven't had earning call yet, right? Earning call comes later. All right, there we go. There's Intel down to its lower earnings expected move. Is Snapchat breaking outside of its earnings expected move? A lot of movement can happen overnight. Yeah, we're talking a big move there in Google, 179, almost 180. If I bring this up on a daily chart, that is a new all-time high in the price of Google. Boom, boomba. Look at that thing move. You look over here like a weekly time frame. Oof. All right, it's going to be like up here. All right, so we're very close to an all-time high. A couple of days separated. Now we're going to be trading up in this area. It's going to be a big old move on a weekly candle. Okay, so what you do is then you start to wait to see if it consolidates, pulls back, and then you can make a trade out of that. See, big old move. All right. Tempted to buy some Meta. Yade. Coco's hella pissed. Oh, recession canceled. Yeah, this is going to be, this is the thing. You just want to, hey, the market started up. The market was above its 5-day moving average. So it's bullish, but with caution. If it's flat, we'll just spy on the 15-minute time frame. So we're well outside of the weekly expected move. We're back inside the monthly expected move. We talked about it when it reached down here. The reason why is because it was tagging into its like lower quarterly expected move, dang near. And then also the monthly 5 EMA. So we're bouncing pretty well from that area. We're trading around 507.56. So I take this off. 507.56. I'm going to put up our 5-day moving average, right? So we're going to be, around up in this area, right around this area. Now, the more we trade above here, the 5-day moving average will start turning back up. So we have this low, we have this low. Those are higher lows. Now we're going to have most likely, depend on what happens overnight, and also the core PCE numbers will probably have a gap up. But so far, everything's holding up, and we're getting back into positive gamma land. Briefly touching back in, and what this does is it tells, this tells me that dealers look to, buy the dip, sell the rip, buy the dip, sell the rip, where liquidity increases and volatility decreases. Getting hung up around that 5,100 level there. All right, let's take a look at what the expected move for tomorrow is, given this information. Intel's breaking down through this, so maybe we do get a stronger move there on Intel. Intel's breaking down from its lower earnings expected move. Okay, so the expected move going into tomorrow's trading session for SPX, about $40. So give me a second here.
Eastman EMN reporting 2.31 billion in revenue, beat of the 2.26 billion consensus expectation, 20-cent beat on EPS.
There's T-Mobile.
Michael November.
T-Mobile's coming out here. All right. SPX closed today at 50, 48, and 42 cent. About a 39.64 expected move. It's not fully closed off yet, but I'll still pull it 39.64. I'm going to take SPYs here too. 503.49 is when it closed. Expected move is about 3.79. So let's draw this out. So today we closed back within the expected move. This was the higher probability.
Boston Beer reported quarterly results that were above estimates, $426 million in revenue on $1.04 in EPS. Their depletions were flat and shipments were up close to 1%. Net revenue growth was almost 4% for Boston Beer, Sierra Alpha Michael.
So as it stands right now, this is the upper daily expected move. And with those earnings, we're trading pretty much at that already, above it. So if these hold, we'll start with a gap above the daily expected move. So it's going to be, we're going to have to pay really close attention to market net flow and what it's telling us, and then any zero date levels too, as we're moving into and around positive gamma territory and back to around the 5100. Now 5100, it's going to be somewhat hard to escape if traders aren't really reaching out further than this, right? So 5100 is right here. Well, we'll probably have to have this updated. 5,000 is the call wall, but if we start reaching back past through 5,100, you want to see traders start reaching out more to 5,200, more to 5,150, because if they don't, and 5,100 starts to grow, and these start to shrink in size, at least relative to this, price can get pinned in and around these areas, okay? In and around where we currently are. All right, let's take a look here. We'll take one more look. Google's still holding very well. Roku still kind of consolidating here. T-Mobile saw a little bit of a pop up here to 167.37. Intel trading under its earnings expected move. Does not look good in the midst of all of this. And then Western Digital traded down to its lower earnings expected move. Reached out further than that. I don't know if this was just a quick glitch there or if it actually did reach down into 2 standard deviations. I want to see it. If Intel can come out to 2 standard deviations, we'll see, because Intel's been ripped to shreds. All right, people. I think that's all for this. This was going to be just a quick stream. Wanted to go over some of those expected moves and on both going into tomorrow's trading session, then also Microsoft, Google, and all these earnings plays. Microsoft's coming off here slightly. We still have earnings calls. Earnings calls can shake things, especially when they start talking about guidance more. Getting some clarity there. Roku's coming off a little bit here, but still holding up rather well. Snapchat holding up. Google is the one that really kind of took the center stage today. Rightfully so. It's one of the larger market cap names. Tomorrow, coming into tomorrow's trading session, just be aware that we do have macro data still to come. That's core PC. That's going to be an hour before the market opens up. And then we have Michigan consumer sentiment about 30 minutes after the opening bell. That's all, people. That's all. Quick little review. All right. Everyone, be careful, be safe. Someone's saying TNX. Take a look at TNX. What's TNX doing? Is TNX coming off the 10-year yield? Looking all right. Big move in the 10-year yield, over here. It's pretty wild. All right, y'all. I got to get off. Time to get off. Go get some air. Hope today's quick little episode here helped out. Thanks, Palm Tree. HYG's happy as well. Yeah. Good. I would imagine so. Hope this helped out.